Are you looking for an easy, fun craft to do with your first graders for Christmas? How about button tree? I am Laura from Laura's Adventure Resources, and I'm an adventure director. And I want to show you the craft that my club chose to do for our button award. We did position it very conveniently as our meeting right before Christmas. So we made sure that the kids got these finished and could take them home to put them on their tree at the end of the meeting. These are pretty simple to do. I would highly recommend them for busy bees. And really, kids first grade and up are going to do great with these. Younger kids could do them as well. They just might need a little bit more help because there's going to be, some fine motor skill stuff. So some of your kindergartners will handle these really well, and some of them will struggle because all kids are different. So for this project, you will need some supplies, of course. Some of these are necessary. Some of them are optional. They'll just make things easier. So obviously, you're going to need buttons. For that, I got these nice big bags from Amazon. So you're going to need some brown ones for your stem. And you're going to need some colors. For the tree that I did, I kept it kind of all in the same color scheme, all kind of pinks and reds. The one we're doing today is going to be green. But it could be anything. Kids love lots of colors, so anything is good. We did have a variety of buttons for our button award, but when I reordered more buttons the next time I taught it, I went, we're a little low on the colors that we're probably going to need because we'd already pulled out a lot. This is my original bag of buttons after 2 classes have gone through it. So the next time when I ordered a mix of just Christmas. That's probably what it was, is a Christmas blend. So it is red and green and white, which worked really well because most of the kids, those are the colors they're probably going to want to do for it. But if you've got pinks and blues and purples, definitely the purples, I bet those are going to be popular for you with your kids too. And you might have a kid who just wants to do totally multicolor or rainbow or whatever, and that would be awesome. So encourage them to do it however they want. But when you're trying to figure out supplies, sometimes you have to limit it a little bit. So anyway, you need buttons. And for that, you are going to need, just for planning, you're going to need about 9 to 10 buttons in the color that they're going to want, and 2 to 3 buttons in brown for the tree trunk. Then you will need some sort of cord to put them on. This is a knotting cord. You'll find it in the crafts, I think this is probably in the kids' craft section at a craft store. And I will have links to everything down below. And you will need a star or something to top your tree with. These are just like star pony beads. They come in a whole variety of colors. That's all the requirements. But one other thing that is really helpful, nail polish. Now, I have not used nail polish for my club. So just so you know, this is something I figured out for you. I did see some tips about it, and they said try nail polish. And I went, that's a great idea. And then I forgot to actually get the nail polish and put it on before I gave them to my kids. So learn from my mistakes. The reason for the nail polish is these ends have a tendency to fray. This is the cord that we're going to use. And so it frays. Not bad, just a little bit. You can see here's what this one looks like after it's finished. See if we can get that to kind of show up. So it doesn't fray badly, but when you're trying to get it through these little tiny holes, it can be a little bit challenging, especially for kids who have a little bit more of a fine motor skill issue. So if you put just a tiny dab of clear nail polish on it, it's not going to fray. And then it's going to be easy to go through the buttonholes. You could also use a needle, but I thought the needle would be a little bit more complicated, in part because some of these buttons are really kind of small, and I think it'd be hard to get this bent through, plus the needle, the eye of the needle. But I know that that is a way some people do. That will mean another supply. So I kind of thought clear nail polish was simpler. So I would recommend it. It's not essential. It's just make your life a little bit easier. And that's what I'm here for. All right, so now that you've got your supplies, or at least you know what the supplies are, I'm going to show you how to put this together and show you just how very simple it is. All right, the first step after picking out your buttons that I recommend, especially if you're doing this with kids, is to line them all up in order so you know exactly how they're going to go. Ideally, you're going to have your biggest buttons on the bottom and your smallest buttons on the top because that's kind of how trees look. So that's what I would recommend. I also probably wouldn't choose to fight with a kid who wanted to put a big button on the top. But anyway, the other tip is when you're picking out buttons, it's not a bad idea to check to make sure that your cord is going to go through them. So for instance, I noticed while I was picking out this one, my cord does not want to go through. Of course, now that I'm showing you, it's going through fine, but it's a little bit tight. This one that is almost the same size though, I didn't have any trouble with it. So, something to keep in mind, although apparently persistence is all that one button needed. So, you know. All right. So you're going to figure out where your halfway point is if you just put those ends together and then kind of crease it a little bit. And this is not super essential. You're going to figure that as you go in the next step anyway. So you're going to stick the cord through one side. Now this button has 4 holes. You are only going to use 2 of them. You can do one and just bring it all the way down and then bring in the other. Some kids will probably find that easier, and some will do just fine putting them both in at the same time. So I'm going to put both in, and then I'm going to, see, I told you to figure this out again at the next step. I'm just going to straighten this out so that it is the same. If it's a little bit off, you can always just cut it at the end, but it's always good to get it started, right? So now we're just going to keep going through, and we are just going to keep placing the buttons. Some of them might be a little different shapes, which is fun. This one is rounded, so part of that is deciding which way you want it turned. I decided I wanted the roundness upward. And I am just going to keep placing them. All right, last one. So you can see this goes together pretty quickly, although once you add 5 first graders to the mix, it's going to slow down a little bit. But you know that because you work with little kids. I mean, young kids. They're not little yet still. All right, so now we have all of these on. There's a couple ways we can do the star. When we did them in my club, I was concerned that the star was going to come off because this knot up here is not really big enough to hold the star on. But if you just make a bigger knot, it'll probably work. So it kind of depends a little bit on how your level of risk aversion. So it does look cuter if it can go all the way through. It looks really good from both sides. So what I did to make a bigger knot when I was playing with it is I went around my finger another time. Also, you could just grab any of your Pathfinders and they could probably teach you how to do a better knot for this. They'll be nice and big. So if you go, that's a little bit bigger than my last one. Let's see, will it slide off? It stops. I mean, you could force it off, but it'll probably stay on. Just as long, I wouldn't pull this really tight because I want it to be a little bit big. And there you go. It is all done. This one does have a bit of a slide to it, actually quite a lot. So all of these will slide all the way up. If that bothers you, you could put a knot right before the star, and then these would stay still and your star would just be able to move. You could also put a knot like this one here down at the end, up right at the top right here if you wanted as well. So just depends on what you want. Definitely play around with it a little bit. After all, you're going to need a sample or two to take to your kids before you have them make it. So, you know, try out some different things. See what you like. Hopefully you find some good options for your crafts. And if you try this out. I would love to hear from you. I did not create these, and you will find instructions. I mean, I did create these, but this is not my idea. I did find instructions for these all over the internet. Some were better than others, and my favorite set of instructions have disappeared, which is sometimes how it is online, which is sad. Anyway, if you are working on the button award, I have all sorts of resources for what I did for my club on my website at Laura's Adventure Resources. So you can check that out, see what the other projects were that we did. And there will be a link for that down below, of course. And if you have tips, ideas, want to tell me about what you did for your button award, I would be so excited to get a comment from you. So leave a comment below. If you are looking for ideas for your adventure club, feel free to subscribe so you can get more videos from me. And I can't wait to see you again in the future. And as always, I hope that you are bombarded with as many volunteers as you can possibly use. And I hope that you have an absolutely wonderful holiday season. Talk to you later. Bye.